Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, I had a very interesting email from a fellow who lives in China. Yep, people from all over the world watch my channel, and that's a good thing because we're getting the message out there. And this fellow is actually a black African who lives in China. And he obviously hasn't been indoctrinated by the education system in South Africa, like many of his colleagues would have been. And he says, "Dear Mr. Scott, my name is Trevor and my last name is Nonyani. I was born and raised in South Africa in an African family. I grew up in South Africa in a region called Guyana in the Limpopo province, and I am 20 years of age. I am currently studying in China, and I must say that sometimes I get a bit concerned or paranoid about what's happening in South Africa, because I have a feeling that those mutts," and then he puts in brackets, "Julius Malema, Ramaphosa, and the so-called black government is going to continue running the country into the ground even more. And being in China really isn't fun or jolly. It's like I'm experiencing apartheid as it is, and I wasn't even born during that era. When you look for a job to teach English in China as a part-time job, you're most likely not to get it if you are black. And it doesn't matter if you have a good English accent, born in America or in Britain. All they want is white people, even those who have thick accents or no experience at all. And I'm not talking about whites from the West. I really do wonder what sort of dealings the black government is having with the Chinese at this time. Well, as I've said, I wasn't born in your time, sir, but I can tell you that South Africa used to be a conservative country, and it had a high respect for Christian values, whereas now we guys from some parts of Africa claiming to rise people from the dead and also claiming to be sent the Most High God. My late great-grandmother used to have high respect for her Christian values, and that was what made me to have the same respect. And this was prior to the recent influx of fake prophet wannabes in South Africa. I guess the world might indeed be coming to an end. How I so wish South Africa could go back to the way it was prior to this mess. And I've noticed that how the white money has now been treated lately. And it is so bad. All my life I have been lied to by the so-called black teachers who taught us history, especially during my years in primary school. We've been taught that whites are nothing but settlers, invaders, and ruthless people. Whereas the truth is they did more to the country than the blacks ever did. The whites, in my opinion, have the right to own this land more than the blacks did, because of how much they did for the country. I guess when you dig deep and research more about history, you find out what you have been lied to all along. You are taught to praise people who are highly accoladed or praised by the radical loony left. I guess when you get older and try to understand the game of politics, you begin to learn of the left and the right and begin to choose yours. Anyway, here is a rather controversial audio of Julius Malema attacking his fellow mate, Ramaphosa, whom he dislikes to the core, so much so from the YouTube. And you can check it out. So I'm actually going to attach that audio to this video so you can listen to it, because it is really interesting. But first of all, I want to respond to Trevor and say that what he raises is a very, very interesting issue, and one that I've overlooked, and I think we've all overlooked, and that is that it's an appeal to the black Africans who watch my channel. Hey guys, look, go and Google some of the things that Trevor talks about. What have whites done for South Africa? What is the history in the development of South Africa? Look at the real history of South Africa. Google it. Go on Google. Get your sources, have a look. You see what's actually happened historically in the past and the huge role that the white population have played in actually bringing South Africa out of the Dark Ages. Look, it ain't rocket science, guys. You just go onto the internet, which you use a lot, Google, and see for yourself the crap that people like Malema and Andili and Ramaphosa, your black political leaders, are talking. And they're doing it because they just want to garnish your vote. And they're looking for really going below the belt to try and achieve their aim. They don't care about fact. They are a bunch of absolute losing liars. Now, in the video that is attached, where we hear Malema talking at, let me just get this right, Sharpeville Day. Okay, so this is very recent. He spoke at Sharpeville Day, and one of the things that really got to me in the speech was that he says this idea that, there's no race is bullshit. He is clearly identifying himself. This is Malema. He's clearly identifying himself as a racist because he says the idea that there is not a race is bullshit. He says, we are not about white privilege. We are fighting for the rights of black people. So he's actually identified a race that his party is working for. And that is against the Constitution of South Africa. It's no better than what the BLF and Andili have been saying. Malema is a blatant racist, yet he's always pointing the finger at others when it comes to racism. So here comes the Malema audio, where you can hear what he says at Sharpeville. And please, guys, understand that South Africa is not the country it once was. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. And
but not only in Sharpeville, how Katena Twane, Street, Itemu. Every person who killed and presided over the genocide of black people, who are celebrating on a list strata, on a list stage. Today is not a human rights day. Today it's a Sharpeville day. Today is a day we are fighting for the rights of black people. We must not make any apology about that. This nonsense of non-racialism that they are spreading in defense of white privilege, we are not part of that nonsense. What Human Rights Day? Today, it's a day for the rights of black people. That's what we're fighting for. What human rights? They always had rights. We never had rights. We are here to fight for the rights of black people. And therefore, Sharpeville Day means the right of black people. We must call it by rightful name. It's a Sharpeville Day. They call it a Human Rights Day so that they distort the history of South Africa, so that you don't know what is this day about. This is a day where black people were killed by white people because black people were fighting for the rights of black people. For Human Rights Day. Human Rights Day for who? For what? Where? This This is our day. Aba emenyana. Barbolaya. Aba fetja bar batlo celebrate le rena. Barbolaya. Barbolaya. Aba fetja bar. It's a human rights day. Don't call it by its rightful name. Because you must appease the murderers. We will never appease the murderers. Arena problemo le makoa. Rena le problemo ya u change history or isute makoa. Makoa abona lokar, they are good people when they are not. They killed our people here in Sharpeville Day. They must be remanded forever. Holocaust yama Juda iyabulelwa iyabitwa for what it is. For Majuda abulailwe on that day. Today, black people were killed. They were not killed by Holy Spirit. They were killed by white people. Ufofa helicopter eba tunya balemo fasi. They wanted to wipe off black people on that day. Banabarena abagole batse nete. Because they are going to make a terrible mistake, and when they make a mistake, they will return this land into the hands of the murderers. No, we want to sound nice. Let's lose elections on principle. Let's lose elections on telling the truth. If telling the truth will make us lose elections, let's lose elections. But they must know they've got blood of black people on their hands, the same way Ramaphosa has got blood of innocent people of Marikana who are fighting for a living wage under the leadership of Amku. Let's tell the truth. We will be a lost nation. Black people, you need to start identifying yourself as black people without making any apology. You must be proud to be black. You must be proud of your history, that you are not children of cowards. You are children of men and women who confronted well-armed murderous regime with stones. Only the brave can do that. By wisha puso ya maburu, by betaka maswika yawa. Today we are here because our parents are brave. Let's know the history of South Africa. Today, Keletsatsi la PAC. Let us not rewrite history and say other things. Today is a day of PAC. Today is a day that was led by PAC. Today we must salute PAC for being brave, for leading from the front. If it was not of the PAC, we will not be where we are. Lauka Tsofala PAC waba weak. Let's not rewrite history. We're not ANC on that day. Let's teach our children proper history. Today, we are here to tell the truth about where we come from. Rena, Rebanaba Thomas Sankara. Rena, Rebanaba Steve Biko. We are children of Robert Sobukwe. We are children of Winnie Mandela. We are children of Krisane, the fearless fighters who confronted the regime and said to the regime, as long as Sharpeville looks the same way it looked in 1960, it's not yet Uhuru. Una le matlu awamo agilwengi kare hamuos bengona. Those houses were like that in the 60s. They are still like that today. Without a plan. When you say to those people, they must celebrate Human Rights Day, because there is no right without a proper house. There is no right without a proper sanitation. There is no right without water. What type of right is this of being unemployed? Just imagine telling people, I've got a right to be unemployed. What type of right is that? We have no right to be unemployed. We have a right to be employed. And we have a right to be paid proper salaries. Not this joke of minimum wage of 3,500 of Cyril Ramaphosa. Renyaka chelete. Our workers must be paid properly. Mapodisa, our great chelete. Mashole, let them be paid properly. The taxi drivers must be paid properly. Taxi drivers can only be paid properly if we subsidize the taxis and make sure that taxi drivers have got a guaranteed salary at the end of every month. Babele medical aid, babele pension fund. Basebeta, ke bana ba batho le bona ababele di benefits mo mosebetsing wa bona. Re batla ma teacher abele di tšhelete ba hole proper salaries, re bushe seriti sa a teaching profession. Today our teachers are insulted, beaten up, humiliated, undermined by our own children. When you check, they are not paid anything. It's a very difficult job. How can we imagine the other person? How to be a better person? From the age of 3 years, my teacher they must be trained. Salary, pension fund, they must be on a payroll of government. Why? How what 4 years? Oh, counter from 1 to 500. Oh, how come 1? Alala. Oh, carry 1. Alia Subiela straight. Banabarona, Baudisa ke bonkgono baka ke ba leka kwa tenteng ka mola bonkgono baka le bona ba rutea muso ba timile thuto ka nako ya bona ba tla udisa bana ba ka thuto efe bana ba e di kreche tseo di agiwe di be le a proper sanitation bana ba kene di kreche. Early childhood development must be the order of the day.